In the high-octane world of MMA, knockouts stand as the most thrilling outcomes in the sport. These top 10 UFC knockouts have not only electrified fans, but have also reshaped the careers of the fighters involved, marking monumental moments in the history of mixed martial arts. 10. Kamaru Usman vs. Jorge Masvidal, UFC 261. At UFC 261, a title bout that tactical acumen. 9. Amanda Nunes vs. Cris Cyborg, UFC 232. UFC 232 hosted one of the most anticipated and defining moments in women's MMA history as Amanda Nunes, the reigning bantamweight champion, stepped up to challenge Cris Cyborg Justino for the featherweight title. Entering the octagon, Cyborg was viewed as virtually invincible, with an incredible streak of 20 consecutive wins, most by devastating knockout. She was widely regarded as the most formidable fighter in the history of women's MMA. However, Nunes shattered these perceptions within the first minute of the fight. Demonstrating extraordinary power and precision, Nunes rocked Cyborg with a barrage of punches that led to a swift knockout. This victory not only earned Nunes the featherweight title, but also solidified her status as one of the greatest female fighters of all time. Number 8. Shogun Rua vs. Lyoto Machida, UFC 113. At UFC 113, the rematch between Mauricio Shogun Rua and Lyoto the Dragon Machida was highly anticipated following their controversial first fight, which many believed Shogun had won despite the judge's decision favoring Machida. In this high-stakes rematch, both fighters had something to prove. Shogun, known for his aggressive forward-moving style, returned to his roots, refusing to leave the outcome in the hands of the judges this time. Within the first round, Shogun managed to close the distance against the elusive Machida, who was known for his unorthodox karate-based style and counter-striking abilities. With a combination of precision and power, Shogun delivered a series of strikes that eventually led to a knockout, securing the UFC Light Heavyweight Championship. This victory not only avenged his previous loss, but also established Shogun as one of the premier fighters in the light heavyweight division, breaking the puzzle that was Machida's previously undefeated record in the UFC. 7. Anderson Silva vs. Vitor Belfort, UFC 126. The clash between Anderson Silva and Vitor Belfort at UFC 126 was a highly anticipated matchup between two of the most skilled strikers in MMA history. Silva, the reigning middleweight champion, was known for his elusive and dynamic fighting style that had seen him dominate the division. Belfort, a formidable striker with explosive power, was seen as a significant threat who could potentially dethrone the champion. The fight began with both fighters gauging each other's movements, but it was Silva who made a spectacular move that would etch this fight into MMA lore. A little over a minute into the first round, Silva unleashed a front kick to Belfort's face, a technique rarely seen in MMA at that level, especially in a title fight. The kick landed perfectly, sending Belfort to the canvas and securing a knockout victory for Silva. This iconic moment not only solidified Silva's legacy as one of the greatest in MMA, but also showcased his ability to innovate and succeed under pressure. 6. Francis Ngannou vs. Alistair Overeem, UFC 218. At UFC 218, the heavyweight clash between Francis Ngannou and Alistair Overeem was billed as a meeting of titanic proportions, pitting the emerging force in Ngannou against the seasoned veteran Overeem. Ngannou, known for his devastating power and athleticism, was rapidly ascending the heavyweight ranks, and this fight was a critical test of his title credentials. The fight was brief, but dramatic. Early in the first round, Ngannou showcased his fearsome striking ability. In a display of sheer force, he delivered a thunderous uppercut that caught Overeem as he was leaning in. The impact was so powerful that it instantly knocked Overeem unconscious, his head snapping back in a moment that became instantly iconic within the MMA community. 5. Daniel Cormier vs. Stipe Miocic, UFC 226. At UFC 226, Daniel Cormier, the reigning light heavyweight champion, stepped up to challenge Stipe Miocic, the most decorated heavyweight champion in UFC history. This fight was historic, as Cormier aimed to become only the second fighter ever to hold two UFC titles simultaneously. The bout was highly anticipated, with both fighters known for their exceptional skills and high fight IQs. The fight commenced with both fighters exchanging carefully, measuring each other's strengths. However, Cormier, known for his wrestling, showcased his striking prowess when he caught Miocic with a short, powerful right hook in the clinch. This punch stunned Miocic and sent him to the canvas, resulting in a knockout. With this victory, Cormier not only secured the heavyweight title, but also cemented his legacy as one of the greatest fighters in the history of MMA by holding 2 divisional titles simultaneously. 4. Dan Henderson vs. Michael Bisping, UFC 100. Dan Henderson's knockout of Michael Bisping at UFC 100 remains one of the most celebrated moments in MMA history. Leading up to the fight, there was intense rivalry, fueled by their stint as opposing coaches on The Ultimate Fighter. Henderson, known for his devastating right hand, dubbed the H-bomb, was looking to make a statement against the confident and surging Bisping. 3. Joaquin Buckley vs. Impa Kasanganay, UFC Fight Night 179. Joaquin Buckley's knockout of Impa Kasanganay at UFC Fight Night 179 instantly became one of the most viral moments in MMA history. Midway through the fight, Kasanganay caught one of Buckley's kicks, leaving Buckley seemingly vulnerable. However, in an extraordinary display of athleticism and creativity, Buckley launched a spinning back kick with his free leg, connecting perfectly with Kasanganay's face. The knockout was instantaneous, sending Kasanganay crashing to the mat, unconscious before he hit the ground. This move not only earned Buckley a Knockout of the Year award, but also assured his place in highlight reels for decades, showcasing the unpredictable and spectacular nature of MMA. 2. Holly Holm vs. Ronda Rousey, UFC 193. Holly Holm's victory over Ronda Rousey at UFC 193 was a monumental upset that reshaped women's MMA. Rousey, the reigning bantamweight champion, was undefeated and widely regarded as invincible, with most of her fights ending in quick submissions. Holm, a former boxing world champion, used her striking expertise to maintain distance and systematically dismantle Rousey's defenses. The climax came in the second round, when Holm landed a powerful head kick that knocked Rousey out, marking the end of her reign and introducing a new era in women's MMA. This fight not only stunned the sporting world, but also significantly boosted Holm's career and legacy. 1. Conor McGregor vs. Jose Aldo, UFC 194. Conor McGregor's knockout of Jose Aldo at UFC 194 is one of the most iconic moments in UFC history. Aldo, the long-reigning featherweight champion, had dominated the division with a fearsome combination of striking and jiu-jitsu. McGregor, known for his psychological warfare and striking precision, had promised a quick finish, and he delivered spectacularly. Just 13 seconds into the first round, McGregor countered Aldo's aggressive start with a left hook that caught Aldo flush, knocking him out cold. This victory catapulted McGregor to global superstardom and reshaped the landscape of the featherweight division, underlining his status as one of the sport's most dynamic and charismatic figures. These unforgettable knockouts highlight the unpredictability and intense nature of MMA, where a single moment can define a fight and a fighter's legacy. Each knockout not only captivated audiences worldwide, but also underscored the skill, power, and tactical precision required to compete at the highest level of the sport. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more electrifying fight breakdowns and MMA content.